Hello, everyone. We would like to take an opportunity to just recap our first three episodes. Back in June, we launched our very first episode of Let's Get Together and Meet this summer. And the initial topic, our first topic that we had on the podcast was the conversation that the church does not want to have, featuring Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Merritt
Mm-hmm.
the third.
And of course, the conversation started from a post that he made during what is coined Pride Month. And we wanted to have the conversation about the love of God and how God extended himself for everybody. And by that extension, we mean on the cross, how he died for everyone so that, no one had to perish. And Johnny's thing was that we've spent so much time being so dogmatic oftentimes about the lifestyle that we forget to lead with love. And that is what our initial episode was about, leading with love. It wasn't about
Condoning.
biology. It wasn't about condoning anything. It wasn't about any of that. It was about showing the love of Christ in every situation. Because even if it's not an LGBTQ situation, it could be something else.
Yep,
But whatever it is, we have to show first and show forth the love of God. And that's exactly what that was about.
absolutely.
Yes. Um, and we enjoyed Johnny. He made so many great points. He brought out so many good things that we as a church and as a church body needed to look at and kind of back away from being so aggressive to being friendly and to being the people that stand up and say, we love you, Christ loves you. Again, does not mean that we have to condone anything
Absolutely.
that is not in the way or in the word of how God tells us to live. It just says that we all were created by God and we are all loved by God.
Absolutely. Our second episode that we had on the podcast, we brought on Dr. Damian Johnson of Clio, South Carolina. In the month of June, June was Mental Health Month. And so we talked about men's mental health, breaking the silence and healing the man.
And Dr. Johnson during that time was able to point out a lot of things that we really didn't know about,
Mm-hmm.
men's mental health. And one of our questions was, what does it look like?
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes men have been indoctrinated to boys don't cry. They've been indoctrinated to, you know, carry it on your shoulders, be a man about it. And unfortunately, that has led to men oftentimes not being able to express themselves how they feel
Mm-hmm.
or to verbalize what's going on with them in their lives. And so he explained that oftentimes depression in our men actually shows up as aggression
Mm-hmm.
and anger. And so we spoke boldly about that. And he also gave us resources as to what we can do, how we can collectively as a family and a group of people, and that includes the church, because oftentimes we spoke as well about how the church can be kind of taboo about counseling. Let God work it out. Let God do it. Do it, do it, do it. Want it, do it. Yeah, he can do it. But sometimes it's going to take a collaboration of things. And so he was very open and honest with that. Dr. Johnson is also a doctor. He got his PhD from Capella University, and he's also an author. So we're going to share his book.
I feel like I'm invisible.
And this, of course, is from a child's point of view. He sees children, he sees adults. This is a child's point of view of how they feel in their everyday lives. And unfortunately, sometimes our young people feel like they're invisible unless they're getting in trouble
Right.
or unless they're being, accused of something. but this is a good read. It is a good conversation starter for you and your children, young children. And it's also a good way to get a fix on how your children feel about what's going on at home and what's going on at school. Okay? So, shout out to Dr. Johnson, and we will link this as well as his information as well.
Our third guest was Mrs. Allison Caraway, the wife of slain officer Terrence Caraway. And the topic for that particular episode was living life beyond the headlines. Miss Caraway talked to us about her story of triumph, an amazing story.
Mm-hmm. And Allison is getting to a place now where she is truly triumphant. That day in October of 2018 changed her life forever. And she spoke openly about not only did it change her life, but the lives of those that her husband was connected to, and the lives of the 7 that were involved in that tragic shooting. She spoke freely about grief and how some days are hard and how some days have gotten easier. We know, of course, losing a loved one. She called it ebbs and flows. She said she has her ups and she has her downs. She has her ebbs and her flows, but she is coming out of this, and she has thrown herself into foundation work for her husband and other organizations that she's connected herself to, as well as she's taking the step to get the counseling that she so needs. And there we go again, the counseling.
Absolutely.
I mean, God can do it, and He will. Do it. But we got to add some things to it. And it's okay. It's okay. And she's doing beautifully.
Our first 3 episodes with Johnny Merritt III, who is an awesome man of God, Dr. Damian Johnson, who is not only a licensed counselor, but a minister as well. And then Mrs. Caraway, whose life is truly a testimony to all, were just uniquely kind of designed where they kind of web together. And we were just afforded the opportunity and the privilege to have all 3 of them on there. We encourage you that if you'd like to get in contact with Johnny Merritt III, that you reach him through Facebook. Johnny Merritt III is his name on Facebook, and we will show you that information as well, as you can see it on the screen. And then if you would like to get in contact with Dr. Damian Johnson, who of course wrote an amazing book, who's also a licensed counselor as well as a minister of the gospel, you may contact him through the information on the screen as well. And if you know anyone that would need his book, please, 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 ma'am, please, sir, sow that seed of that book into the life of a family who can open up. Maybe that's a conversation starter, and open up the conversation, because we did talk about how families do not sit around the dinner table anymore. And lastly, Mrs. Caraway, if you would like to support her foundation that they have done in honor of her slain husband, we also ask that you support that foundation by contacting her through the information on the screen. Again, thank you to each one of you for taking the time to visit us and to come on the podcast.
Now, upcoming is going to be our fourth episode. And we will be releasing that sometime this week. Still kind of in the vein of community. Letitia Plowden is going to be here, and she is speaking about a program that Florence School District 1 has for those who either, for whatever reason, life found you dropping out of school. There were, issues at home. There were issues, whatever the reason was. There is now a program here in the PD area where you can actually go back to school and work on your GED. and obtain your GED.
Absolutely.
Um,
Awesome
yes.
program. Awesome program.
Awesome program. Not only can you get your GED, there are other areas that you can actually look into, schools that you can actually look into to further your education once you have gotten your GED. And Miss Plowden and her church family also is a part of that over here in Florence. They meet face to face 2 nights a week, and she's going to be here to explain more of that, to tell you who you need to make contact with, what you need to do, how you go about it, what paperwork you need to have, and everything that you need to get started. So we implore you to watch us later this week for that episode so that you can get all the information that you need, um, for anybody who is deciding to go back to school. We know it can be a struggle, especially if you've been out of school for years.
Right.
And now life is lifing, as she said in the podcast. Life is lifing, but it's okay. There is a way, there is an avenue that you can still get your GED. You can still get your high school diploma. You can still get what you need to be successful.
And it's never too late. Never, ever, ever, ever too late to start again, and or to try again, or to do it again. So there's a great support system there, and we cannot wait to release that and share that information with you.
Absolutely.
Are we done? That's it?
That's it.
We're finished? Well, thank you so much for tuning in for this recap of Let's Get Together and Meet. Of course, we want you to go over to YouTube at Let's Get Together and Meet 1, 2, 3 and subscribe, like, share, comment, leave us your feedback, share some information that maybe we may not know. And then also head on over to Facebook and follow us at Let's Get Together and Meet LLC. Let's Get Together and Meet LLC. We hope to see you on the next episode.
And do please take time to just kind of go back and look at all 3 of the episodes. You'll be glad you did.
Absolutely. You will. You won't be disappointed. Until next time.
Thank you.